Hey, Rams versus Seahawks postgame. It's a beautiful thing to be right, isn't it? Yeah. So I called this. The Seahawks did not come out with the proper intensity. The Rams have been in a power run game mode for a few games now. And man, this is kind of the script that everybody was talking about during last year's playoffs and in the preseason, but everybody kind of forgot. The Rams needed to save Todd Gurley for when it mattered. And they did. They really did. They didn't overwork him in the beginning of the season. And now they have him to get them to the playoffs. They needed this. They needed to show themselves and the rest of the NFL that they can do it. And they're doing it the same way they did it last year, year before, riding Todd Gurley. And it worked. Worked real well. Seattle's defense is not built to handle the run the whole game. They're built to get a lead and go after the quarterback, defend the pass. They are not built for power running offenses. If you can run the ball on them consistently and hold them out of the end zone at least once or twice, now they got to play catch up. And they're not built for it. They are built to play with a lead. Mind you, so are the Rams. The Rams are built to play with a lead. So, very, very similarly built teams. Rams got the upper hand early. Never let go of it. They just dominated the pace. This game was over early fourth quarter. Just Seattle needed to do something coming out of the half. Sure, they got some points on the board, but beginning of the fourth quarter, all momentum was taken back by the Rams with a really dominant drive, ending with Todd Gurley running it into the end zone. It's exactly the script they needed for a victory, and people can shut up about Sean McVay now. He's a good coach. He's a good coach with a good staff. And Wade Phillips did really well on defense for a few weeks now. Yeah, the Rams are scary. They've been there. They've done that. They didn't win the big one. Okay, but they've got a lot of playoff experience on that team. And they can do some damage if they make it in. And they saved Todd Gurley for the right time of year. As long as he doesn't get hurt and they keep pressing this running attack, they can go deep. All right? They have the talent, the experience, and the game plan to really beat anybody. They just have to get the lead early. If they can do a good defensive stand, which they're very capable of with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and a Wade Phillips coach defense. And the offense can punch you in the gut all game long with Todd Gurley. Yeah, they're dangerous. And the Vikings better watch out. They need to win that game against the Packers later in the season because the Rams are now in serious contention to wipe them out of the playoffs if they don't win the division. So, yeah. NFC playoff race is getting real interesting. A little less interesting at the top. 49ers firmly in first with a loss from Seattle here. And they can control their own destiny. They can control their own destiny with a game at the end of the season against the Seahawks. So that becomes primo. San Fran beating the Saints was big, especially in the Superdome, where they're traditionally very, very dominant. But this year, both their losses are at home. So, weird. Yeah, I think San Fran's for real. Yes, they've lost games, but they've lost games against Seattle, who's fantastic, and Baltimore, who's fantastic, and by the way, beat my Buffalo Bills today. Um, Baltimore's gone against tough teams and won late in the year. They beat New England. They beat the 49ers. They beat the Bills. I mean, all these other 8, 9, and 10 win teams, by the time they encounter them, the Ravens are running right through. So look out for Baltimore. It doesn't seem to matter who they play, what kind of style of play they have. They find ways to win. They have talent on all levels, on both sides of the ball. They have a fantastic coach who's won a Super Bowl already and obviously is looking to do that again. So, yeah, the league got very interesting today. Very interesting. Playoff implications on both sides. You got the Chiefs going to New England and beating them, tightening their stranglehold on their division. I'm pretty sure they can clinch next week with a win and a Raiders loss, or maybe that happened today. I'm not 100% on that. But yeah, Chiefs stranglehold on their division. They're going to win it. And beating New England really helps and makes a game with the Bills against New England much more interesting. The Bills have to take care of business against the Steelers, and really New England just looks vulnerable right now, don't they? They lost to the Texans, who lost today to Denver, and they lost to the Chiefs here. So, yeah, all of a sudden Brady's mortal. Weird. I mean, the right set of circumstances hits, they don't get home field at all. The Bills can win the division. So, yeah. The playoff picture is very interesting on both sides. You have teams on both sides who are in serious playoff contention going against each other late in the season, and that is the perfect script for an NFL season. You want it to be as interesting as possible, as late as possible, and I understand they didn't pick the teams that were going to do it, but that's the reason they have flex scheduling, so they can get these teams more in prime time. Like, how the heck was San Francisco and New Orleans and Buffalo and Baltimore, those were both 1 o'clock games, just early as all get out. And I mean, at least give them like 4 o'clock. Both of those games were huge playoff implications. Just, yeah. They'll get it eventually, right? Maybe. Anyhow, let me know what you thought of the game. I mean, I thought the Rams were dominant at times and showed they really belong in the playoff conversation. I called this. I didn't see Seattle handling this game well after a very emotional game the previous week. Very tough opponent. You can't keep that energy level that high all through the season. It just doesn't happen. So, yeah, I saw this coming. So check out my pregame videos maybe. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Again, keep this conversation going. Just let me know what you felt about the game. What do you think about the playoff picture going forward? I'd really be interested to know.